What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of FitBizU. I'm your host, Jill Coleman, and today we are doing the second part of 4 in the mindset skill set series. So, this is all about your business mindset. And if you did not listen to last week's or last episode, we talked all about imposter syndrome and this feeling of not feeling good enough to be able to, quote, make it in the industry. And today I want to share about all or nothing thinking. And I've been noticing more and more that this has been coming up in business. And I think if you are listening to this and you're a health and wellness professional, you know what all or nothing thinking is, or black and white thinking around diet, exercise, nutrition, lifestyle, habit change, right? We do this and we talk about this a lot with our clients, or maybe we've even had our own experience with this. But what a lot of business owners and coaches fail to see is that we do the same thing when it comes to business. And I feel like I want to talk about this because all or nothing thinking is literally keeping you from making more money right now. And I want to talk about this because if we can overcome or see this situation from a different way and create a show of evidence that it's okay to take messy action, not have all your ducks in a row in order for something to be successful, then we're going to get a lot further. Now, I said this last episode when I kind of defined mindset. Mindset really to me is two things. Number one, it's the perception that you are seeing a situation from. So I'll give you guys a couple examples here in a second of ways all or nothing can show up in business. And the second part of this is realizing that at some point, if you want to have the success that you want to have, you're going to have to be okay with something being good enough. And mindset oftentimes is a way for us to, number one, change the perception. And number two, which is more important, take a different action, right? That's you. To me, that's why mindset is even exists, right? The concept of mindset. People are mindset coaches. People have mindset. My friend Casey Joe has a mindset certification, right? This is why we've seen a lot of people bringing mindset, psychology work, habit change into health and fitness, because at the end of the day, we want our clients taking different actions. And if they can change how they're viewing a situation, maybe they can then lower the barrier to entry so they actually start making some strides. And the same thing happens in business. So the reason why we talk about this is because I feel like it's really common. And what I'm seeing more and more, it's funny because when I talk about all or nothing, immediately so many of us go to fitness or nutrition. Maybe you had experience with this. I certainly did. When it came to my eating, was I remember when I decided to stop dieting. I had dieted my entire 20s. I was getting up on stage. I was dieting for photo shoots, and I only knew two speeds. I knew full on dieting or binging. Those are the only two speeds I understood. And if I didn't have a date by which I was getting ready for something, then I was completely off the rails and eating just sort of with abandon. And I remember when I first stopped dieting and I was like, all right, Jill, like you don't have a show coming up. You're not doing any more photo shoots. Like you got to figure out how to eat healthy forever. It just felt anticlimactic. And I also remember going to the store and being like, I don't even know what to buy. I don't know what a middle road looks like. I only knew do it all the way or don't do it at all. So maybe you've had that experience. Maybe you know what I'm talking about when it comes to eating and exercise. This is someone who goes, my diet starts on Monday. So then they like completely pig out like all Sunday because they're like, well, all these foods are going to be off limits starting tomorrow. So I got to have my last supper because all this stuff is going to be. And so it's like, you and I both know as health and wellness professionals that though that person's going to continue to struggle, right? If you want to struggle with your eating forever, just be all or nothing. And there's a mantra that I always sort of say, which is all or nothing always ends up being nothing. Go hard or go home always ends up going home. And for us, this is frustrating with our clients, right? We're like, God, don't they see that even if they go to the gym for 20 minutes, that's better than nothing? Don't they see that even if they, miss a workout, they don't have to start from scratch again? Don't they see that even if they had a couple extra slices of pizza, it doesn't mean they need to start over? No, they don't see that. And what's interesting to me is I'm starting to notice this in business. And the last couple times we have run FBA, one of the biggest objections that we get in FBA is people saying, Jill, I really want to work with you. I know this program's for me, but if I'm going to do it, I want to make sure I do it the right way. So when they say the right way, they mean I need to make sure I attend every call. I need to go along with the curriculum perfectly. I'm never going to mess up. I'm going to implement at the exact right pace and I'm going to do it perfectly. That's what people are saying. So they end up shooting themselves in the foot, not investing, not getting started. And then months go by, years even go by, and they look up and it's been years. And they were like, oh, because I never got over that initial activation energy, just fucking start. People always say, like, I'm going to start my business next week, or I'm going to start my business next month, or I'm going to start my business next year, as if there's like a ribbon cutting. Y'all, all you need to do to quote unquote start your business is post something on the internet, right? You started like one single post. It's like, you got it. You share a solution. Talk to me about nutrition. Talk to me. Give me a workout. Give me a recipe. You fucking started your business. But so many of us, it's this idea of I'm going to start my business. I'm going to launch my business. I'm going to announce my business. You could do that today. Same thing we see with our clients, right? Why are you waiting until Monday? Just literally eat a salad your next meal, right? Same exact thing. So I'm seeing a lot of people not investing or not taking that next step, the step that they say they definitely want to do, definitely going to do it, definitely going to work with me. You're the person I want to work with. But I have a vacation during week 8 and I'm going to miss that call. Or, that's not, I might have to miss a call here and there. And if I do it, I want to do it perfectly. I want to make sure that I'm on all the calls. Y'all, the people who have the most success in FBA do not do shit perfectly. They try and come to as many calls as they can. They might be picking up their kid at school while they're listening to a call, right? Video off, not watching the screen, just listening on Zoom. They might, I don't know, be listening to a training while they're making dinner. They might post something that doesn't really get a lot of likes. They may start their email list and then there's like a bug and they mess it up somehow. Those are the people who end up being the most successful building your business because they're not waiting for the circumstances to be perfect. And so when I get this feedback, I do feel like, oh, like I have this gut. And it's not even about like for me making money. It's more about like, oh, I just know that they would be so much further along if they were willing to just compromise on having to be perfect. So when I look at the concept of perfectionism, which is really what we're talking about, right? All or nothing thinking really is like if I'm going to do it, I want to do it the right way. And I think that if someone feels that way, I don't know that it's ever going to be right. I don't know if it's ever going to be perfect. But perfectionists, and I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I get it, is we go, if I'm not guaranteed success, then I don't even want to try. And we see learning and implementing business skills as something that we either are good or we're not good. We either got it or we don't have it. Now, when we lower the stakes and we go, okay, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? How about instead of on or off, you're just ONF, ONF. Like you're a little bit on, you're a little bit off. Why couldn't we start with that? Why wouldn't that be good enough? Because to me, that's how everyone starts. And if we think about something like business skills, it's not like, oh, I'm good or I'm not good. It's like I start off not good and then I get like a tiny bit better. Then I'm like, but I'm shitty for a while. But then like I get a little bit better, but then I get a little bit better. And then over time, I start to really have mastery. That's how it works for everybody. And so if we can see being, quote, good at business as a skill to get better at over time, then everyone would just start now. They wouldn't wait till Monday. They wouldn't wait till next year. They wouldn't wait till things slow down. They would just do it now because they go, oh, there really is urgency here. Oh, the space is getting more saturated. So if we look at business as a skill that we get better at with reps and time, then there's absolutely no risk to starting now. That's why I like this concept of skills. I mentioned this in the last episode as well. I always use the analogy of, let's just say I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Italy next year and I want to practice my Italian and I want to learn some Italian before I go. So I'm like, I download an app like Duolingo and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my Italian lessons. I don't show up to Italy expecting to not mess up. I'm practicing, right? I'm like, I'm not quite there yet. I'm speaking slowly. Maybe I conjugate the verbs wrong. Maybe I get the wrong, I don't know, like the wrong noun or wrong pronoun or whatever. But I don't have the expectation that I'm supposed to do it perfectly. And I'm like, why would I? Right? I'm learning Italian. I'm not going to do it perfectly. Same thing when you're when you're learning a musical instrument. We don't sit down and play a song absolutely perfectly the first time, right? We're going to mess up a lot of times. So sometimes when I look at those examples, we all can agree that like that's normal. It's normal to mess up when you're learning a language. It's normal to mess up when you're learning a musical instrument for whatever reason. When it comes to business or it comes to investing in something like FBA or you're investing in your business, it feels so much more higher stakes. It's like, well, if I'm going to invest time and energy in all these things, then I have to do it perfectly. But could you just approach it like you were learning a new language, which you actually are? Business is its own language. So I always say that all or nothing ends up being nothing. So we default to lower stakes because we're like, if I invest, it's too high stakes. So we oftentimes default to lowering the stakes. I had this client years ago, and I mentioned this, I've told the story before, and she kept putting out freebies. And I have clients like this right now who just keep putting out freebies, right? They just keep putting out freebies, or they keep, asking people to get on their email list. They keep sending out newsletters. And I asked my client at that one time, I was like, okay, so we've built the list. We've put out a couple of freebies, like ready to make the sale. Let's do a course. Let's do a group program. And come to find out, the reason why was because she was like, oh, if I take someone's money, now I'm on the hook. It's scary, right? It's easy to just do freebies. It's easy to just send an email to my newsletter. There's no risk there. And so we default to these lower stakes things because the higher stakes things are scary. What if we mess up? What if we're not good enough? What if we fail? What if we look stupid? What if we get judged? What if we get rejected? What if we're embarrassed? So we go, well, I'm not going to do that because at least I'm not on the hook to get someone to. Same thing with investments, by the way. So instead of investing in a course or investing in a mentor that can like literally just open up their playbook and be able to teach you something, and hold your hand and keep you accountable while you're doing it, we don't. And we go, let me see if I can piece this together myself. I'm going to listen to podcasts. I'm going to read books. I'm going to follow people on social media and see if I can piece together what they're doing because that feels lower stakes. But we're forgetting that it's the investment of time and energy and money that gets us to actually take it serious and have the success. So it's a little bit of a what's the word? It's a little bit of a catch-22 because the success that you say you want, you keep avoiding doing the thing that's going to get you that success because it feels so high stakes. So if I'm constantly investing in freebies, I'm constantly signing up for freebies, that's low stakes. If I'm never selling anything, I get to stay low stakes. If I keep learning and taking more courses and keep buying more certifications and keep going back to school, I never have to stick my neck out and risk something that's low stakes, right? Get to keep it low stakes. So, one of the ways to kind of flip this, and we think about the all or nothing mindset, like I'm speaking to you right now, and you're like, holy fuck, this is me. Like, I do keep like giving out freebies, or I keep like just attending calls and I just keep listening to podcasts and I keep just consuming more content. I keep going back to school. I keep getting more certification. I keep getting more credentials. You have to flip this and go, what would I tell my clients? I find that this is really effective. And the tool that I use, which is what would you tell your clients who had an all or nothing mindset around eating? We would probably tell them stuff like something isn't nothing, right? Same thing on business. Something isn't nothing. You posted and it didn't really do that well. Who cares? I'd much rather you just post the rep for rep's sake than go viral. You don't, I'm not, that's not my expectation for you. We'd probably tell our clients that messy action will get them further than waiting around for the most perfect circumstances ever will, right? This is why we go, don't wait till Monday. Just do something different at your very next meal. Don't worry about having a big start date for your fitness program. Just start today. Go for a walk. And yet, for our clients, it doesn't feel good enough, right? A 10-minute walk doesn't feel good enough. A little workout at home doesn't feel good enough. I got to go to the gym for an hour. That's what feels good enough. So it's the same advice we would give our clients. One of Layla Hermosi's, it was one of her threads, and I really loved it. And I'm going to like butcher, it's not exactly this verbatim, but she said, taking action and failing is closer to success than not taking any action. I thought that was so good. So true. It's like taking action and failing is actually closer to success than not doing anything. Because at least with failure, you're getting the whole, like you're learning the whole thing, you're getting the full experience and you're getting to learn from it. One of my favorite things from Seth Godin, he says, indecision is a decision too. So for example, if we have an all or nothing mentality, we're going to stay on the sidelines for a long time, waiting for the perfect circumstances. They actually show in psychology research that people say, I'm going to do that when things slow down. And they actually show that things never slow down. So this idea that we're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, realize that we're probably going to be waiting forever and it's actually just a choice. So we probably tell our clients like, hey, I know you're waiting for the perfect time where you don't have a vacation or the holidays aren't coming up or you're not going to, the kids aren't home or whatever. But like, that's the beauty of learning something like healthy nutrition and lifestyle fitness is that you can do it when the kids are at home. You can do it on vacation. You can do it during the holidays. But yet we don't take that same advice, which is, yeah, you're going to start your business. Yeah, you got a lot going on. What's the alternative? Not starting? This is the thing you say you want, especially online when there is more urgency than ever to put your footprint down ASAP. Don't wait 6 months. Don't wait a year. Start now. Even if it's not perfect, you have to start putting your footprint down because we're in the trust business and trust takes time to build. And then ask yourself, like, what are the consequences of waiting? For me, especially online, they are very clear. And, one of the things I think about is I have students in FBA, and then I have students in my more intermediate level container, and I have students in my mastermind. And my mastermind clients are already at most of them at multiple six figures, scaling to seven figures. And when I look at all of them, some have been doing business a long time, some have not been doing business a long time, but really most of them have just taken massive action over the years. They've stayed super consistent. Some of them have only had their business for like 4 or 5 years. Some have been in business longer than I have, but they have just taken the very next step. And they've built these businesses to where there is viability, and they'll probably tell you like, I don't do shit perfectly. And I'll tell you guys too, like we've never had a launch that went perfectly. But to me, what am I going to do? Not launch? What am I going to do? Not invest? What am I going to do? Not access the strategy that I need to do the thing I say I want? And so I know this is maybe a little bit nebulous, a little bit more esoteric, what we're talking about, but I find that it is very confronting when I think about, God, I complain about this when my clients do it. And maybe you have even overcome all or nothing thinking when it comes to your exercise and nutrition. That's what Moderation 365 is really all about. It's like helping people navigate what we call the middle, right? Navigating the middle. And it's the same thing when it comes to business, the same thing when it comes to any endeavor. So the idea of needing everything to be perfect in order for you to take the next step is just a fucking lie. It's just a procrastination technique. Indecision is a decision too. So what if you could build your business while things are hectic? Imagine if things did slow down, how easy it would be, right? If you start your business when things are a little more hectic, but at least you start putting your footprint down. I have a client right now, Emily, who's she did FBA and she just had a baby and she literally is showing up on reels all the time. She's a postpartum coach and she's a sleep coach for new moms. And she is like showing up. And I'm like, this is the best. And she's just sharing with her audience having a newborn. And it's like so fun and so interesting. And she's getting a lot of traction because it's just real. It's so real. She could be like, I just had a baby. And not like, y'all, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying this is an example of someone who was like, well, I want to build this thing and it's not perfect. And I didn't really get that much sleep, but also I'm giving myself permission for shit to not be perfect. And what do you know? She's getting a lot further than if she waited until that baby was 2 to start. Now, again, everyone has their own journey. I don't want you to feel like I'm shaming you into having to start a business when you have a newborn, but she started her business before she, had a newborn, before she even knew she was pregnant. But I think it's important as an example of someone who has a lot of shit going on in their life. And it's just like, well, I'm going to just do what I can and let it be good enough, right? Let it be good enough. And I think that waiting and needing things to be perfect, the circumstances to be just right to get started or take that next step or to launch that thing is keeping you from making a lot more money and a lot more impact than you possibly could if you just decided that the circumstances don't need to be perfect for you to get started. Good. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening. As usual, if you are not on the interest list for FBA, we're going to be opening the doors for the wait list in a week or two. You can go ahead and get on the list at the link in the show notes. If you want to get those early details, there's absolutely no obligation to be on the list, but those who are on the list are going to get an exclusive discount and some amazing bonuses that no one else gets. So make sure you're on that list if you are interested in learning more about FBA. If you need anything, you know where to find me at JillFit on social media at FitBizU, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, y'all.